What is Claude Design? How does it actually work? And will it eat all your tokens? In the next 7 minutes, you're gonna learn what Claude Design can build for you, exactly how to do it, including the actual prompts I use, the limits you should know about before you start, and even a few secrets that are gonna help you stop doing this and start getting something more like this. Claude Design uses AI to produce real visual deliverables that look professional and ship ready. We're talking sales presentations, website mockups, animated video explainers, the stuff that used to require a designer, an animator, or a marketing agency. The workflow is basically the same for every functionality you're about to use. First, you translate what you want into a Claude prompt, then you generate a first pass, you iterate with specific feedback, you never restart, and then you refine it. Let's build a sales presentation. Claude Design can build the structural skeleton, draft the copy, and even suggest layouts. All we have to do is feed it our audience, our offer, and our proof points. And as long as we're clear enough, Claude Design is going to return us a 10 to 15 slide outline with copy that could be usable on the first try. Personally, I like to nail the content first before moving on to design. So start by pasting your raw notes. Ask for slide specific structures. We're talking cover, problem, solution, proof, the ask, etc. Iterate by section or slide by slide. Don't try and make changes to the whole deck all at once. Here's one prompt I like. You're a sales deck strategist for my company. We sell product to US-based B2B SaaS business owners. I want them to book a discovery call. Build me a 12 slide deck outline. For each slide, I want you to give me a title, the one job that slide does, and 2 sentences of body copy that I actually say out loud. Open with a problem the buyer feels in their gut, not a company overview. Make it painful, then twist the knife by blowing that problem up to a larger scale when that problem gets out of control. And with a specific ask, not questions or thank you. Before writing anything, ask me 3 questions about the buyer you'd need answered in order to make this deck land. The clever move here is that last line. You've got Claude asking you questions before writing. It surfaces what it needs instead of guessing, and the deck comes back to you twice as good. Once you're happy with the content, then paste a screenshot of a deck that you love. It doesn't matter whose, because Claude is going to read it and match the look and feel. It is so much faster than having to describe what does modern mean. Before we move on, let's talk about setting up your design system. You want to do this once, and Claude Design is going to then make awesome designs for you forever using this exact system on repeat. So to do this, I uploaded one of my old decks that I really liked. Claude did get our company logo wrong, but it got about 90% of the way there to a full brand guideline on its own. Brand colors, typography, layout patterns, it all generates and extracts things automatically. You only have to do this once, because after that, every functionality that you're about to see, it already knows your visual language, which means you can do things like building a complete website mockup, landing pages, component layouts. This is where Claude artifacts genuinely shine. Describe the page, and Claude Design builds an interactive HTML that you can actually click through. Real buttons, real layouts, not a static image, a clickable design. Here's the how. Describe the page first. Who it's for, what's the conversion path, then walk through the sections. Hero, social proof, features, pricing, call to action, whatever fits your funnel. Claude Design generates the mockup live. Now you have 2 ways to iterate. Chat comments are for big picture structural changes like make the hero bigger, swap cards for a grid, and Claude Design updates the output. Inline comments are more for small fixes. Click directly on an element in the output and leave a comment right there. Both work, but be careful. We're gonna come back to why in just a second. First, here's the prompt that I use. I'm gonna let you fill in the blanks this time. Build me an interactive HTML mockup for a blank landing page targeting blank audience. Conversion path, hero, social proof, and 1 call to action. Sections, hero, social proof bar, problem section, 3 feature grid, single call to action pricing, FAQ, footer, match the visual energy of whatever URL you like. Make it clickable, buttons, hover states, and real layout, not a static image. Before you build it, tell me what 3 things you've cut from this list to make the page convert harder. I want your editorial opinion, not a yes machine. This last line is really important because it forces Claude to act like an editor instead of a generator, and the pages end up coming back a lot tighter every single time. Once you're happy, hand over the file to a developer. They'll build production off of your living spec. Before we get to the biggest unlock that Claude Design offers, we need to talk about one of the realities of AI. Yes, Claude Design is powerful, but it can't do absolutely everything. For some work, you just need a human. And for that, you want to check out this video's sponsor, Golance. Golance is a next generation freelancer marketplace that built their own AI so that anyone you hire will actually be a cultural fit with your team before you hire them. As a small business owner, I personally love their dynamic vibe tracking, which helps me know that everyone's on track and working well without me having to constantly micromanage. Some jobs you just have to hire a real human being for, but I always want to know that it's going to be an awesome fit and they're going to do an excellent job with my team. Because some jobs you just need to hire a real human being for. Links in the description below. The biggest unlock that Claude Design brings: animated video, motion explainers, the watch this concept get explained in 30 seconds content that used to need an animator and a 5-figure budget. Claude Design generates the script, the storyboard, the motion direction, and pair that with video AI tools, and Claude Design becomes the director keeping visual language coherent across every scene. You just have to describe what you're explaining, have Claude write a 30-second script broken into scenes, usually 6 to 10, and each scene gets a visual prompt for your video tool in case you're bringing in external B-roll. Claude Design assembles timing, transitions, pacing, and can animate everything for you. Instead of 8 to 10 hours of animator work, you can produce a full first draft in minutes with Claude Design. And when you get your system really cranking with your design system, brand guide, and your prompt library dialed in, you can produce a polished video in just a few hours end to end. So if you're a business owner, this is a $5,000 to $10,000 unlock per video. We're gonna get to how to do this in just a second, but here's the backstory first. My first tries at this were terrible. I couldn't describe the look that I wanted. I just ended up getting back generic Canva template slop. And because this is my business, we don't ship AI slop. AI was giving me garbage because, like you, I am not a designer and I don't know how to describe this crap. Luckily, you are not expected to know designer specific language either. So instead, here's what you do need to do. Paste a screenshot of something you love. Claude Design reads it and figures out what you want way better than you can describe it in words. Then ask Claude for the language. Say, what design terms would help you to make this better? Or flip it around and have Claude Design ask you questions. For example, what should I tell you so that you can do this right? Stop trying to be a designer, be a good client instead. Give crystal clear instructions and examples, then let Claude Design do 70% of the work and use your judgment for the last 30%. Because Claude Design isn't perfect, it's still experimental and it does have some limitations. For example, Claude Design doesn't generate photography directly. Workarounds do exist, but realistically, you're gonna need DALL-E or Midjourney for hero images. It's just an extra step. Also, animated video output is HTML, so for now, you do have to screen record the artifact in order to get an actual video file. Again, extra step, kind of annoying. But now that you know the limitations and know how to be a good AI client, here's how I make my Claude Design videos. Remember the sales deck that we just made? I took that and I said, take the attached sales deck and turn it into a 30-second animated explainer for the same audience. Break it into 8 scenes around 7 seconds each. For each scene, also give me a visual prompt that I can paste into Sora for alternative B-roll that is not corny or cringe, a 1 to 2 second voiceover line, and 1 motion direction, zoom, pan, or transition. Open with a hook in the first 3 seconds, a question or stat pulled from the deck, close on the same call to action as slide 12. Don't repeat the deck word for word, where the deck explains, the video shows. This last line is important because it teaches Claude Design format translation logic. It stops trying to repeat the slides and starts adapting them from motion. Try to keep all your instructions in a single prompt because every additional operation uses tokens, which might make you ask the same thing that I was concerned with initially. With all this video generation, isn't Claude Design going to eat all of your tokens? Honestly, you're probably going to run into token limits even with a pro plan. I personally did, but I will say the upgrade is worth it because it's basically the alternative to paying 30 grand to outsource this kind of work. So just be careful which model you use. Sonnet for most things, Opus for the heavy lift, and batch your iterations so that you don't keep restarting every single cycle. But if you're a business owner, then these are entirely new frontiers that are opening for you at just the absolute lowest cost. Even if you do nothing else, do this. Pick up that design project you've been putting off, open Claude, go back in this video and steal my prompts, then run that 4-step workflow. You're gonna have a usable first draft inside of an hour. And then you're gonna do this. Check out this video right here. I'll see you there.